like to understand, obviously what we know is that there's been a global impact with the pandemic, which has put a great emphasis on remote working and also the network infrastructure and capabilities. So what I'd like to uncover here today is the impact and implications for investors and operators alike. So firstly, just tell us, those watching this interview and they're not quite sure in terms of how telecommunication companies operate, can you just talk us through how that actual operating model is set up? Who actually owns the network infrastructure, for example?
Well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity to spend a little time and a very kind introduction. You said I was 25 years in the industry. I'm a lot older than that, unfortunately, so we'll leave it at your number. Let's see, telecom industry. Well, I mean, I guess for today's conversation, we'll focus in Europe, which is mainly where we operate. Even though I'm sitting here in sunny United States, telecom industry is first of all, it's a 100+ year industry that has gone through so many transformations. In most countries, it still does, or it has a close legacy with government regulated and government operated businesses, because telecommunications is considered an essential service in most places around the world. Although the industry has evolved enough where there's really very few telecom operators, that are still owned, if you will, by the government. Although again, there's a very close link. In general, the bigger groups, groups like Liberty Global, Vodafone, Telefonica, and others in Europe have been created through a number of acquisitions. This is a highly acquisitive industry because the economies of scale are real. If you operate a network, you are much better off operating a network with twice as many subscribers or twice as many mobile phone users or whatever your kind of network is than a smaller one. And because of that, the industry has evolved significantly through acquisitions. Ourselves, we probably are the most active, player in the industry with respect to acquisitions. I mean, if I just look at this, crazy 2020 Corona year, we've gone through two major transactions. We announced the plan to have a joint venture between our Virgin Media business in the UK, mostly a fixed broadband business, and the O2 mobile business owned by Telefonica. Will become a 50-50 joint venture sometime next year. It's going through regulatory approval. And we not only announced, but actually closed the acquisition of Sunrise in Switzerland, where we took one of the market leading mobile operators and putting it together now with our market leading fixed broadband. So the reason I mentioned that is because the industry as a whole has a big legacy of these acquisitions. And because of that, it's really difficult to talk about a single operating model in the industry, although generally what you have is some level of vertical integration. You have a company like ourselves that own the infrastructure. We're present in 7 countries in Europe, and in most cases we own the infrastructure, we own the actual networks, and then of course we own the brands that we provide as a service on top of that. So you're sitting in the UK, you're a Virgin Media customer. Most likely you're operating on infrastructure that we own and operate kind of on a daily basis. In other cases, so for example, if you're a Virgin Mobile customer in the UK, we operate that through an MVNO agreement. So basically we are the service provider, in this particular case, riding on somebody else's infrastructure. And typically the industry runs as a mix of that. For the most part, the more successful operators, it's not a exclusive situation, but for the most part, the more successful operators have either majority or full ownership of their infrastructure, because it's an industry again that where the economics of owning your networks are very, very favorable.